Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a try. I hope you like what you see. Hit like, subscribe, tell me what you're stitching, and let's chat. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the time you take to watch and to share stitching with me. And I say this quite often, but I also want to know what you're stitching because it's just so much fun to hear about what other people's stitching choices are. I am pulling out the fall sweaters. This one is a short sleeve because it is still kind of, it's that in-between kind of warmish weather, but chilly, warm, you know how it is, where you dress one way in the morning and by the afternoon you are completely overdressed. And then by nighttime it might be chilly again and then you're cold again. So, you know, I never know what to wear this time of year. This time of year and the kind of the winter into spring. Those are my two kind of times a year that I get a little unsure of what I'm wearing. It is very cloudy here this morning. We are gearing up for a storm, but I think I don't need to put the lights on. I think it'll be bright enough even though there's just lots and lots of clouds coming and the wind is starting, but it's not quite at that gusting level yet. I think my friends in the Carolinas might be experiencing it right now. So I hope everyone is well. Alrighty, so I have a reminder and I wanted to answer a question that I got a few times, and then I have a bunch of projects. Two starts. I have a stitching finish, I have a scrapbook finish, and yeah, just lots to talk about. I cannot believe we are almost at the end tail of September. Tomorrow is the first day of autumn, so that will be exciting, and then it's just really into all of the autumn goodness that happens. But right now we have cross stitch goodness to talk about. My first thing is my trading card swap reminder, and I wanted to show you, this is, I have, you know, different, how many of us have these carts, right, where you have the different drawers? I think they're the iris ones, right? This is completely full of envelopes with trading cards from people. So this is what's come in for the swap so far. I'm super excited. You still have until October 1st to send in your trading card. And October 1st might be a Sunday. So obviously, you know, if October 2nd is what happens, no worries. I have a few people that have internationally sent, and they did let me know that they're coming. So that's great. This way I'll keep an eye out for them, because sometimes international mail is lickety split and then sometimes a little bit slower. So this way we'll have an eye out. But I am not going to do anything for trading purposes until November 1st. That gives the post office plenty of time to get them to me. And I am super excited. Before I actually send everything out for the trade, yes, I will do a extra video and we will go through. And yes, if people have asked, will there be more swaps? I think so. I've really enjoyed it. I am starting to look at, maybe, if I'm looking at the timing, it would be 3 next year, maybe. 4 might be a little tight. I'll have to look at the calendar and see. And my goal would be, probably during Flossmas, I may announce what the next theme will be, and you would have until February 1st to send them. So that, I think that's the way my thinking is. So if you weren't sure on this one, but you would really like to try it, no worries. There's another one coming. And I hope if you've done this one, you've enjoyed it and maybe want to try it again. All right, so there's that. Then I got asked several times, several people reached out to me and asked about the cute little pattern. If you remember, I showed this little Happy Mail friend gift from my friend Amy. And a lot of people asked if Amy had made the chart or the design, or if it had come from somewhere. And so I asked her, and she very graciously sent me the information. And there's 2 different books. These are leisure art books, and Just Between Friends Smirk is the one that pattern came from. There's also that one's and then the other one's called Attitudes A to Z from Leisure Arts. Now, I didn't look up this one, but the Just Between Friends, I did look it up at Everything Cross Stitch, and it is currently, when I looked it up this morning, on Friday morning, this 22nd of September, it was in stock, and in fact, it might have been like 10% off, so it was $6 something for the book. So if that is something you are interested in, I would suggest you go to Everything Cross Stitch. Let me show you one more time so you can see. what the titles would be. And yeah, I love it. This hangs up underneath my shelves, and I get to look at it every time I'm in here. Alrighty, so that was the question I had gotten that I did want to also say here, because when you get asked the question more than once, you figure there's also people who might have wanted to know without asking the question. So, alrighty, so that's the preamble. Let's get going with the stitching now. Alrighty, first one is my finish, my stitching finish. And I don't think it'll come to a surprise to anyone that it's the Let's Talk Autumn from the Chalk Talk series of hands-on design. Now, let's talk about what I didn't do. Well, if you've been here before, you know I didn't do it on black, so it looks vastly different that way. I, in the end, chose not to do any of the leaves. So none of the leaves are stitched. I have a plan for that, but I have to shop. I thought I had enough of what I needed. No, I overestimated what I had. So I do have to do a little bit of shopping. So that's what the original looks like. I'm sure it's been stitched lots of times. It's a few years old now, and it's beautiful. I've seen several people stitch it, and I love their finished projects. This is what mine looks like, so it's a little bit different. I wanted to just embrace the whole fall color experience, and so that's what I did. And this is 18 count. It's called Autumn Sunrise, and it was from a hand dyer called Hand Dyed Happiness. This was something I bought back in 2020, and I want to say mid-ish 2020, when it was really hard to get aida. You couldn't, the shop wasn't open anymore. I have yet to see it since. If you do find it, let me know, and I'll let everybody know. It's beautiful fabric. Look at the full piece. It's gorgeous. I have a few more of their other fabrics. The aida is lovely to stitch on, but that's what mine looks like. Now, you're saying, well, there's a lot of empty corners there, right? Yes. So what I am going to do is I am going to use leaf brads. Now, the brads are two type of leaves. I think they're like maple leaves, and I don't know if the other one's elm. I should know, because those leaves are, I lived for over 50 years in Connecticut, and we had both maples and elms, but I don't have enough. I thought I had enough because I had gotten like a little package that I was doing with my trading cards, and then I got a bigger package because I thought, you know, maybe I'm trading cards with that or other things. So I think up here, depending on the size, 1 or 2 may go, and then I'll stick one in that corner, and then I'll kind of sprinkle them here. I want to play around with whether or not I want to use just one type of leaf, or if I want to kind of mix and match. And I want to say the colors, there's a green, there is a kind of a rusty-ish red, and I know there's at least one other color, whether it's an orange or kind of yellowish, I don't remember. So it would fit and match quite nicely with here. It would add a little bit of dimension. This will go in the scrapbook, so I think it would be kind of cool. So it is stitched finish, which means I have another finish for my hashtag, oh, where'd my little card go? Hashtag Whip Down 2023 Stitch Along. This is hosted by Heather, the 20-Minute Stitcher, and Michelle from Michelle Bendy Stitchy. So I am at number 6 at this point since I started this, and I am picking pieces that have been started, and I'm trying to kind of knock off as finishes. So if I start something now and I finish it, I won't put it on here. And my goal is first and foremost, well, get things finished, right? But I'm trying to get to 8 because Heather asked us a couple months ago to kind of decide, how many do you think you could get done in the course of, I might as well hold this up while I'm talking. How many can you get done in the course of the rest of the year? And I said 8 on my form. So I am at 6. I have been going through to see what other ones, I think there's at least one other that I think I'm good. And then we'll see from there, who knows? So I am on track because we still have 3 months of the year. I am confident that I can at least get my 8, and maybe I'll keep going. There's still plenty of spots on my library card here. But I will link, and I have been, when I mention it, the info for the stitch along, and I put down the hashtag, and then I put Heather and Michelle's channels, and then you can get the information from them as well. I'm trying to decide where to put this. I'll put this over here. So super excited to get another finish. Just plugging along. I've been looking at my I keep the papers. I make lists when I do my project parades, and I keep those so I can see where I'm going from year to year. And I've been checking off as I've been finishing. So I'm trying to tackle some of the oldest, and this one was one of the older ones. I forgot to look to see. It was probably started in 2021, because at this point, the only 2020 start I have, I'm going to say goodbye to that start, I think. I'm just not really loving the stitch. I tried to revive it a couple times, and I just wasn't loving it. So that would mean my oldest stitches and projects would be from 2021. And some of them are full coverage. I'm putting those in a different category. Those may or may never get finished, but all the others are the ones that I'll think about trying to get a finish. But yeah, super excited with that. We're just plugging away. All right, my next one. This has been something I have been doing a few weeks now in September, because I'm only stitching it this September, unless it comes up for like a stitching games prompt or something. And so for this month, it was September's Morning Glory. And this is from Cottage Garden Samplings. And I am keeping all the colors, but I did change the fabric color slightly. So that's where mine looks like. This is an 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. One of my all-time favorites. From Stephanie, Friendship Green and Nantucket Sky are just, I have to have them in stock. I call it in stock, in my stash at all times, because at any given time, that's the color I want for my piece. So my little owls, they do have eyes, but because I didn't do their noses, you can't, they still look like they don't have eyes. That little segment's done, and then I started to work into the flowers. So these flowers, the first set, are different shades of purple, and then we'll get into the different shades of blue. And that'll be the side border there. So super excited to get to that next section. I might try to tackle that. So I have one more week of working on this. So this will get pulled out one more time, because the end of the month, I think, is Saturday. So I'll probably this week work on it a bit, and then it will go in. I have all of them in my basket, and I have, so this way, come when they're all started, then I start to rotate in the month and work on them. I thought about changing a little bit. There's two different browns here, and the browns in real life are a little bit closer, but I think in the words, it'll be okay. So I think I am going to keep that. So this is one of the few. I'm keeping the greens, which I know I generally do change, but on this fabric with these colors, I think it's going okay. So like I said, I think I'll try to start a little bit here, and that will have from one end to the other at least started, and then we'll just work our way down. I do think I may change though on this is just acorns right here down here. And those two colors, which might be two different ones, there's like 3 or 4 browns in this, might be different than the words, and they're very similar. I think they're the two that you see. Those are 2 different colors, actually. I have one more set of leaves to do there. And they don't in real life look that much different. So I think I may change one of the acorn colors. I'll have to see. I'll pull them out and see, so that you can tell that they're little acorns working their way down. So you will see that one more time next week, and I will see how much I can get done on it before the end of the month, and then it'll be put away. And I have October to start next month, and then they're all started. Then it's just starting to work on them as each month comes up, and see how many I can work towards finish. And the sun is trying to come out. I'm not sure where, because all I see is clouds. It must be from behind me, because I don't know. I'm seeing shadows somewhere. So maybe it'll get a little bit brighter here. I'm not sure. Okay, next one. This is, oh gosh, I forgot to look up. I told myself I was going to look up the hashtag, specific hashtag, and did I do it? Nope, forgot. Well, I know last time I showed this, I had forgotten the hashtag too, and it is in the description box below. So before I hit public on my videos, I fill out everything. It's not too bad because all my information is really already on my notes. And a lot of times if I've worked on a project within the last couple of videos, I just cut and paste. So it really doesn't take me that long to do the description box. I think I worked on this a couple weeks ago when I started it. This is called Nobody is Home. And it is by, I never remember who it's by here, Elle Noonan of Stitchsprout. And it is in the Halloween, the Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2023 book. And I just loved that. This is the one and only time I've actually purposely gone out and bought the called for fabric. Will it happen again? Maybe, but you know, very often it doesn't. And that's what mine looks like. Woohoo, that's bright. Yep, it's that bright in person too. It's that bright, that model, that I just thought it'd be fun. And this is all going to be full coverage stitching, really. And you can see even the clouds aren't, but you can see them nicely. I had to, there's part of a cloud. One of my stitches came undone. For some reason, it wasn't secured properly. So that little tiny cloud has to be redone. This did not get as much time as I was hoping. It's really charted nicely. So I can't say it's hard to read, charted, but it's hard for my eyes to read. And I'm not sure why. I can't explain it. I think it's fun and it's not that hard to stitch, to be honest with you. What I should do, well, see, it depends on if my eyes can read it. I think it'd be kind of fun if I did all of the black first and then kind of filled in. But we'll see. We'll see. So this did not get as much time as I was hoping, just because for some reason differentiating the actual symbols is what I have no problem stitching on the fabric. I have no problem putting the stuff in, but looking at the pattern and differentiating the symbols, they're nice and bold and solid. And I don't know if that's part of it. But for some reason, my eyes just kind of say, don't know. So I'd love to get that finished by Halloween. And really, I mean, look at the size of it. That's the halfway mark. So, I mean, there's no excuse why it couldn't be finished by Halloween. So one day I might just put a bright light right over my head. I have the BenQ light, which is a wonderfully bright light. I should just put that right over the stuff, and because I like to have it, but I generally don't have it like really on top of things on the pattern. But this one, I think if I do that, I should maybe be able to see it better. So maybe that's the plan. But hopefully, and I wouldn't put that in my whip down stitch along finishes because I just started that. So when I was setting my numbers for Heather's form, I want to take things that have already been started. So for me, the idea is to get those older starts finished. If I get some other finishes in the meantime, it's fabulous, but I'm not going to count them. All right, so we're going to take a little detour into scrapbooking for a second. This piece has been sitting on my table for weeks, probably a good month actually. And I had different cardstocks with it and I couldn't decide on the colors and I wasn't sure what I was doing. And so this week I finally said, sit down, Laura, and just get it done because it's just sitting there on your table and you know, you want it in your scrapbook. So I finished it and here it is. Cottage garden, maybe? I can't remember. At the beach is where I find a place to let my soul unwind. You know how much I love being at the beach. Not at noon on a sunny day. That's not me. 7 a.m. maybe on a sunny day. 5 o'clock in the evening, but not at noon. But I just couldn't decide. I knew I kind of wanted the blue. And then what color did I want to pull out? I thought about the yellows, the oranges. They just weren't working. Then I had picked up this pattern paper from, I think it was Frantic Stamper, my last order with Frantic Stamper. And I said, you know, those colors are kind of nice. It almost reminds me, you know, sandy-ish, whatever, summerish. Now, after this was completely on and attached and done, like I had everything done, I said, oh, what I could have done was put the thing here, and that could have been like the sky. And I would have done my twine a little bit differently to make it look more skyish, but I didn't. But that was a thought that after the fact I thought of. So I ended up with a deeper purple, since the dress was in purple and there are some different shades of purple there. I did not stitch the, oh, no, it's Silver Creek. It's Silver Creek, because doesn't Silver Creek put the year in a lot of their stitches? I chose not to put the year. It was a different year than what I stitched in, and I didn't feel like recharting it. So I just added more, I think it's just more pieces of like little sand all over the place is what I did. This is just baker's twine, and I really like and it's just free form. I have no idea if I could even reproduce that. I have, from years and years of, I had an Etsy store, and so I would do all sorts of different paper products, and so I ended up buying spools and spools of baker's twine. This one, if you're wondering, because I have them labeled, not all of them. I thought I was good, and they're not all labeled. This one was from a company called The Twinery, which I'm not sure is still around. At one point, I think it was going out of business, and it is denim. And it is just your regular standard baker's twine. So all I did was, ooh, I almost sent something flying. What I generally do, because I like to do this with card finishes a lot of times, what I would do is I would anchor the back of the twine, and I would keep it attached. I wouldn't even cut it. I keep anchor it just with a piece of tape on the back of my paper, and then just start winding it in different directions, and whatever comes up, comes up. So that's what I ended up with. And I like it because it's just a little bit different than some of the other finishes. You know, I like to do the cardstock finishes and stuff, and it just adds a different piece of kind of medium that I'm using in my pages. So the camera's not going to show you my 6x8, 9x7 scrapbook is up there. So this will go in the scrapbook. And yes, during Flossmas, you will get a flip through. I promise. I know people are asking if I will flip through my scrapbooks, and I will. So that's coming in just 2 months. I can't believe. Last year for Flossmas, I probably did about 6 or 7 videos extras, plus my regular. I can't do, those who do every day, you are awesome. I can't get my act together to do every day, I tell you. But I can get my act together enough to do maybe like 5 or 6. So a scrapbook flip through will be one of the extras that I film in December. Okay, now, oh, and Ectoplasm, my Nobody Home. The hashtag is hashtag millennial. It might be Millennial Halloween 2023, because Millennial Stitchers is the one that started the hashtag. It will be in the description box below. For some reason, I just have, I need to have, Beth from the Steadfast Stitcher, I asked her, because she does a lot of stitch alongs, how do you keep track of them? Because she's always keeping me on the straight and narrow, because I always get them wrong with the ones I'm doing with her. And she said she keeps a spreadsheet. I am a pen and paper girl. There's very little that I do on the computer if I can write it down. So I'm going to have some sort of master sheet of hashtags. So I promise, Beth, I won't mess up your hashtags if I get them all written down. So I think that's probably a project for me one day, is to go through and figure out all the different hashtags I'm using and write them down. And then I won't have these blanks when I go to tell you what it is. But if you look in the description box and you want to join along, it's anything from that Just Cross Stitch magazine for Halloween. So just a lot of fun, because there's a lot of great projects in there. Alrighty, let's go back to, speaking of Beth, Beth and I started last Saturday. And let me see if I can find it. There we go. The Librarians House, or Librarians House, I think it's called. This is from Stone Street Stitchworks. And that's what the original looked like. I am not 100% staying true to the original. The thing that caught me was this flower right here and the colors. And that color, I think it's 221 actually, is in, I think you need 2 skeins of it. It's listed in the chart because it's all that kind of reddish color. And that was what got me. So from there, I pulled everything as called, and some of it I just wasn't feeling, to be honest with you. So I am changing some of them. And as I go along and do so, I will let you know if you are interested in changing it. Beth is keeping completely to the pattern, and actually we're doing similar fabrics, so it'll be really cool to see because she is keeping it as charted, so you'll get to see what it looks like in its beauty, completely as charted. And then if you want to jump off the rails a little bit like with me, so I was talking with Amy, and we were talking about this project, and I was talking about the colors, and I think you know by now, let me show it while I'm talking. I'm not 100% prim in my color choices, right? I like the bolds and the brights. I love seeing the prim stitches, but I don't necessarily always stitch them. But Stone Street, there's something about Stone Street. I just get drawn into the patterns from Stone Street, and I just love them. And very often I do not change the colors. And so I decided I just wanted to jazz it up a little bit. So we're calling this Jazzy Prim. That's what we're calling it. So it's still along the whole gamut of those kind of color schemes. We're just jazzing it up a little bit. So you can see right away, I am changing the outside border. I have my notes here. Does it say? Of course, that's not the, I want to say it's 839. What's the really deep navy? I think it's 839. That is one thing that's not listed here. I'm pulling out my DMC card, you know, the big charts, and playing around with colors. So I don't have a specific thing as I'm going. I'm going to change certain things. Some of them will be like for like, for example, the border, and whatever that wherever that color is will probably be the 839. The leaves are going to, they're a shade of green, but they're a little bit more greeny green than yellow green. So I think instead of 371 for the leaves, it's 3364. The house color might be, what's this color? It's a brown. It's a shade of brown, kind of a mustardy brown sort of. It may be what I changed this to, so the house would then be that color. And then I'll need to change the trim a little bit, but you know, when I get there, I'll figure that out. This is, look at this gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. This is Darling David. I want to make sure I get it right. From Those Missing Stitches. Isn't it just absolutely, besides beautiful, I need some more adjectives, exclamations to talk about Lynn's fabric, because it's just oh, it's so amazing. But anyway, that's the fabric I chose. I did end up going on a fairly neutral because I felt like these colors, especially because I'm going a little bit darker with some of them, will pop on this fabric. And her aida is just, it's a delight to stitch on. So that's where I am. And I only stitched on it, I think last Saturday morning. I jumped on a Zoom, and again, it will be a little bit slow going just because until I have all of the color changes figured out. When I do have them all figured out, then I think it'll zip a lot more. It's a lovely stitch. I'm really enjoying it, the bit I've done so far. And I just love Stone Street. Jazzy Prim. Alrighty, next. There we go. I did finish up this week's rotation of Mini Sunflower Cottage. This is charted by Dona Gelsinger. Well, no, sorry. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is artwork by Dona Gelsinger. I know there's other people stitching this. The one that comes to mind right away is Leanne of Small Town Stitches. And I believe Leanne is also doing the mini. I'm going to write her name down so that I remember to link Leanne. I'm trying to think last time I saw her, last time she showed it, but she's doing it. And Leanne's cool because Leanne does more pages, whereas I'm just like all over the place. I can't keep track of what I'm doing. Or I can't do it in a orderly manner if I tried. But if you'd like to see it nice and orderly, Leanne is the one to see, and it's really cool. So this is where I am. And this is, and I'm not gonna kid you, got probably about 600 stitches since the last time you saw it. But what I tried to do was tackle some of the more confetti. And you'd say, okay, well, did you tackle confetti in one area so that one piece is, no, I didn't. I did a bunch of the greens over here. So this will be some green vines wrapped around this piece right here. So I tackled some of that. I tackled some more of the umbrella. And then I also tackled some more here. And I think I pulled some colors for that. So I literally went in every section I could of this. This is the width. That's how wide it's going to be. I couldn't have jumped around more if I tried. And then every once in a while, I would do one of the blues, and I'd add a little bit more blue here and there. But I really tried this time to tackle some of the confetti, because I do sometimes leave that, not going to lie. So I tackled that, and I feel good about that. So now that will go away. I don't know what I'll pick out for my next 10 days. That actually went a couple days extra. I think I was supposed to finish it 10 days would have been Tuesday, but I was enjoying it. And I said, you know, there's always room for me to adjust, right? Nothing is so set in stone that I have to keep it. And if I was enjoying it, why not keep? If I kept enjoying it, I would do another week. I love it, but there's so many others I want to get some stitches in. So I am going to switch, but it's all fluid, right? So I won't stitch on a full coverage again until Saturday. Fridays are usually non-full coverage days just because how the day plays out from filming and such. So we'll see. It'll be a surprise to all of us next Friday. Alrighty. Next, I pulled out my Frony Ritter Celtic Pumpkin. There's a lot of beads on this one. We will see how this works. I might have, oh, I feel a sneeze coming. Excuse me. Let's see if we, excuse me. So sorry. My allergies. There might be lots and lots of bead questions once I get in on this. So be prepared, my friends. But I am on the stitching part. And it is so cool, just the stitching part right now, without adding anything to it yet. That's what it looks like. I did take this for some car beach stitching. If you are new, I do live in a beach town. I don't live on the beach. Those houses are way too expensive for us, but I'm probably off season, no more than 10 minutes from the beach. And as of September 15th, they're not charging for parking anymore. September 15th to May 15th is the most awesome time because you can park right at the beach and you don't have to pay for parking. And so what I do, there's one section at the end of the boardwalk that has a parking lot. I can hear the ocean. There's some dunes with some sandgrass or beach grass, I should say. And then you can also see the water. I sit there and I open up my windows. I listen to the ocean. I can see I can kind of see everything, and I just stitch. And so you get a lot of beach car stitching in this time of year and then the spring. But this is where I am with it. I concentrated there's about 5 different colors within the pumpkin, and they repeat. So my goal now is to kind of work my way over and just get that done. And there's 2 different colors of beads in all of this design, and there is another set of beads that goes around the vines, and each corner is just a repeat of that leaf. So when I get to that, that should be fairly easy. So this, when I made my list for the whip down stitch along, this was one, but see, I don't think I'll get the beads done. I'm not sure I'll be ready to tackle that. The stitching could be done by the end of this year, but that's technically not a finish unless I wasn't going to do the beads. So I might try to continue to work on this and get the stitching part done, and then maybe next year tackle the beads. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Now this next one, I know you're going to be shocked to see it. This is one that I did start in 2021. So I do want to start giving it more love. And there's no reason that I can tell you of why I haven't stitched on it. It is an awesome pattern. It is charted, easy to read. I don't even have an excuse. So it is Sawen and Salem. And this is from, I was going to say from Gumroad. Well, it is from Gumroad, but it's Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. Kansas City girl in a Colorado world, Julie, is the designer at Hemlock and Rye. Incredibly talented designer. And I stitched her I think it was Christmas in Nantucket. And this was the next one that I had started. And I'm not going to, Julie does provide Sawen and Salem, and she also provides the words Halloween and Salem. So if you choose to do that instead, what I think I'm going to do, and I have to figure out where everything will go, I want to do the gate all the way across. Now, I'm going to stitch the houses first. And then I might say, that's good. But the other houses did have the fence. So I thought the kind of the gate fencing look of this, if I was really good, I would do like, I'm thinking gates. It would be cool to do like a couple gate doors and then do the fence, but I'm not that good at charting. So I don't have that ability. I don't have Julie's talent, but that would be what I would think that would be really cool to have that right in front of this house and then have the gate go out, the fence go out. But you know, I can only do so much. So I had house number 1 done and I started to tackle house number 2. Hooey, house number 2 has, actually I think the roof ends there. So I came down here. So I have all this roof to do. This is over 500 stitches right here. It is a huge block, but once you get going, I'm not using the overdyes on that piece. Julie gave, with her DMC alternatives for the overdyes, she did give like blends of 2 DMCs. So I am using the DMC blend on that, which is easy. I mean, and it's just, you just keep zipping along with it. So, and this house is pretty, there's a lot of windows. They have a lot of windows in this house, but then it's pretty, easy to stitch, I think. It'd be really great by the end of this year to get this house done, but I'm not necessarily sure. These houses are massive. I don't know how she did it so fast when she was stitching these as models. This fabric is 18 count old library marble from Dove Stitch. So it's the printed. You can see there the white line. I thought it would be kind of cool. I think this would be beautiful on like a stormy kind of gray too, kind of give those Halloween sort of vibes. But I went with this, and I think it'll be neat in the end. And we'll see what happens. I would, like I said, really love to see more finish. Now you'll see, Laura, this looks awful tight. And yes, I will tell you, this is going to be tight. I don't know what I was thinking when I cut this. I really don't, because it's short. This will be scrapbooked, so I'm not worried about having a border for framing. But you can see right here, see how close these houses are? Julie had probably a good 11, 12 stitches between her houses, or empty spaces. My houses, they're on top of each other neighbors. They're going to be a little bit closer neighbors. They could open their windows, and each of them open their windows and kind of talk to each other, kind of neighbors. So I'll do the same thing here. This one will be tight. And yes, I've already counted to the edge, and it is probably going to go maybe 10 in from this selvage, and that's about it. So it will be tight. And here I have all this extra space here. But, you know, sometimes it happens, right? I'll have plenty of space up and down. I might actually just cut it here and leave some as like a sky, because you've got kind of that fun part of the fabric there. But yes, I'm a little anxious, and I kind of purposely did that much of the roof just to count then from there to see if I would have enough. If not, it would be a 2-house picture and not 3 houses. but I think I'll be okay on it. So I think we're hanging in there. All right, next I pulled out every other week. You know, I change out my kind of, I'm not sure I want to call it focus piece, but this is Black Vintage Sampler from Owl Forest Embroidery. I started this in January for my New Year, New Start, and I figured out next January is New Year, New Start, so I will talk about that in shopping. Oh. Okay, the sweater, even though it's short sleeve, is a little warm. I need one of the fans. I need a personal fan right now. Okay, but yes, so this won't be done by the end of this year, but I am every other week trying to give it some stitches, and it got probably about 475. I just missed 500 on this one. So this is the outer edge. Look at this fabric. I love this fabric. And it took me months to figure out which fabric I was going to go with, which is kind of why I wanted to decide next year's New Year, New Start, because I do want to do some, just let it sit and think. The different fabrics sat for weeks and weeks before I figured out that this was, well, and then, you know, you'd see different fabrics. And this one here is 18 count. It's Rainy Day from Bestitch Me. And it is the most glorious, absolutely perfect fabric that what in my head I saw. So you can see there, I am starting to work my way almost all the way down. This is probably almost the second, this is probably the second to last. So there might be one more of the border right here, and then you go across the bottom border. So I'm definitely more than halfway done. And I did work on some of the border here. You can see I started to do some more there, here. And I did take everybody's advice because, you know, there was a lot of fabric. It was flapping over on this side, and I did flip it over. I didn't do much. I think I got 1 or 2 strands in there. I am so paranoid about making sure I start right, because if I get this, and that's why I'm doing kind of the outer edges first of the border, because I'm really terrified it's not going to line up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do tiny chunks upside down and then keep working my way with it just to make sure. And then I'll fill in all the inner parts when I get to it, because I know I goofed on, I want to say on her. So she's slightly closer to the house than she should be. And I had to kind of reconfigure a little bit of her dress away from here because I did count wrong somewhere. So I'm not 100% sure. I think these lanterns are right, but I don't want to count the border off of them. I think I want to come below here and count off of, just to make sure that I haven't goofed completely. So this is where I am. There's still a lot of stitching. This is solid. If use it as a blanket if it was cold. This whole section still has to be tackled, except for, well, and I still have, I'm almost done with this flower. I did a lot with that too, I'll show you. And I still have that other flower in the corner. So one of my sessions, yeah, it's almost done. This flower here near the cat is almost done. Then I have another one right here, and then that'll be the border. So this one will get put away for this week, and I will pull out my Summer Quaker from Leela Studio. And looking forward to that. This one is a lot of fun. It's monochromatic, which I really like. But I'm definitely finding at some points that the counting, I really have to pay attention with the counting. So I have zoomed with this, but I think I may not zoom as much with it because I am kind of almost making mistakes with the counting. So I do want to be careful on that. And some of them you can recover from. You can keep it miscounted and just fudge, right? But there's parts of it I can't, and I need to know in case I'm counting off of other things. So, you know, that has to be taken into account as well. So we'll see. But yeah, Summer Quaker next week. Looking forward to it. And I'll, for now, that will be the switch with it. If either Black Vintage or Summer Quaker, I get a little tired of them and need a break, I'll switch one of them out. I'm not going to say, in a perfect world, I'd keep Black Vintage until it's finished, right? We have milk thistle tea today. It's got kind of a lovely little, I don't even know how to explain the taste of it. There's something about it I like though. It's very light. Should I keep working on black vintage until it finished? That would be ideal. We'll just see if I get to the point where I'm getting a little bit burnt out on it. But that of the two, I really would like to try to work to finish because I started that one in January. Summer Quaker was started the first day of summer. So that was 6 months later, really. A little bit more than that. But speaking of starts, I did start my final piece. This is Autumn Quaker from Jardin Privé. I've done the other three. This is what they look like if you wanted to stitch them as a whole, because they are designed that one to the other does some of the elements, what finishes on one side then starts on the next one. I chose to stitch them all singly, and I am stitching them on brights, all this different bright colors, kind of like seasonal bright, and they're all getting stitched with DMC 823. Now, what I did to make the final decision on this fabric was I pulled out the other three finishes, and then I laid I wanted a shade of kind of like a peachy, orangey something. And so I laid my different choices up against the finishes, and that's how I chose this one. This is an 18 count soft peach from To Die For Fabrics, and I think it complements really nicely with the red, no, the pink, the blue, and the yellow. So they'll all be really nice, I think, in the end. And they'll be scrapbooked, so they'll be like a little set, a little collection within the scrapbook. So that's what I got. These, I love stitching these. If you've ever considered stitching these, go for it. Especially if you do monochromatic. It zips. And I was curious, and I do have a reference point here. So I think I started this, I don't remember when I started it. It might have gotten a little bit of beach car stitching, but I don't think I did much that day. Where it got most of its work, Monday night, we had a town hall meeting for our HOA. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to be sitting there listening. I need to bring stitching because otherwise my hands, I mean, that was an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. Just sitting there, I could get a lot of stitching accomplished, right? Especially, I wanted something like this because it's monochromatic. I didn't have to pay attention to colors. And I concentrated, actually. This pumpkin got done that night. I could just kind of stitch, right? And that one I didn't have to do a lot of counting, so it was perfect. I could listen. I didn't have any questions or comments, so I knew I wasn't going up to talk. I could just kind of listen and stitch, keep my hands busy. But sometimes I get a lot of people who will say, well, boy, you stitch so much in a week, or how do you do it, or this and that. When it comes to monochromatic especially, I'm not the fastest stitcher you'll find, but I do stitch fairly fast, I think. Now, if I have to change colors and I'm doing confetti, it definitely slows down. But in the grand scheme of things, I think I am on a little bit of a faster side. I stitch in hand. I don't have to worry about getting the hoops or the you're all telling me the things that you do otherwise, and you can finagle them in different shapes. You know what I'm talking about. Well, and I don't do the sewing method because I do stitch lefty and it just doesn't work for me very well. And I've just gotten a rhythm going. So in that hour and 15 minutes, I put in 275 stitches. So you can see where if I'm saying, okay, I want to give a piece approximately 500 stitches, well, in an hour, I had gotten half of that. So this piece didn't need a ton of time to work on. So that's generally sometimes how you'll see me work on so many stitches, just because my needle sometimes on things like this especially can really go fast. And so I don't need to stitch 10 hours a day. And for me, it's not a race. It's just what works. And for me, if you stitch 10 stitches in an hour, I think that's fabulous because you're doing those 10 stitches. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself and you're having a good time. I guess I don't have the right word for it, but just to kind of put things in perspective, because I know sometimes, and I just touch a lot because I can get through some of them and not purposely hurry. It's just what works for me. So you know, if you touch 2 stitches in a week and I touch 10, it really doesn't matter. We're all just, you know who you need to listen to, actually. Fanciful Flamingo just came out with a video. Ooh, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday. And she had at the end a lovely talk about stitching bringing you joy, and basically just you being you with stitching. And that's all. I can't say it as eloquently as she did. Go listen. I thought it was really, you know, it was just wonderfully said. And just a reminder to enjoy your stitches, enjoy each and every stitch of yours, and that's it. Don't worry about anything else. All right, my very last piece is Winter Sampler from Crocetta Go-Go. And the hashtag here, I do know this one because it's kind of fun, is gogowintersal. I thought that was fun. And I am stitching this with Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, among other people in her crafts and books Facebook page. Amy is stitching it, my friend Amy. And who else? Are you stitching it? Let me know. Let me know. All right, where am I? So I actually stitched on this while I was talking with Amy. We did a Zoom this week, and I almost got all of the, so I got another tree in partially. And I think I did some up here. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to concentrate on the owl, which is what I did. So I have, the owl clearly needs eyes. There is another color within the wing, and then down here on the branch area. Now, I did notice what I think is a mistake. Now, the trees themselves, they alternate. This is a different color than this, you know, so they alternate there. That's fine. But the very first tree, the stem on the first tree is, say it's number 1. I don't know what the symbol, I think the symbol is 1. I don't remember. And every other tree, the symbol is like a circle that looks like a 0. I'm guessing that that tree is not supposed to be different than everybody else's. I forgot to go check to look on her website to see if she's got, you know, errors or mistakes. So if you are doing this pattern, if you have this one different, I thought maybe because the trees were different, originally I thought they were going to be different and I didn't think anything of it. But then I looked at the pattern, every other tree has the same bottom symbol, you know, kind of the trunk symbol as the second tree. So just check that in your pattern if you are stitching this. Did I tell you this is 18 count Harbor Haze from Dying for Cross Stitch? I love this color. It's beautiful. I need to cut it down though. This is half of it. It's the full piece, and there's a lot of fabric I'm wrangling. Sometimes I do all the math and I cut my fabric, and then sometimes I don't. I'm not really sure why, but who knows? Alrighty, let's keep going. That's my stitching for this week, and you're like, Laura, you talk a lot. If you knew me, I'm actually very, very quiet otherwise, which is kind of funny. So this week, the 2-week color challenge that we've got going on in my Facebook page is this one here. So if you'd like to join along, remember, you don't have to choose all 5 colors. Pick a minimum of 2, find a project, whether it's fabrics, flosses, finishing pieces, whatever, and see if you can put those together somehow or other. This will go for 2 weeks. So we have, it just started on Tuesday, so it'll go through 2 weeks from there. So that'd be October 3rd, I think. I haven't picked my project yet. Librarians, I want to look at I think Librarian House. I think the colors will go with that. So I think that's the one I'm choosing for my color challenge. The only other thing is that I know plan-wise, well, I'm going to work on Summer Quaker. I will work on September Morning Glory 1 more week. And I think I'm good for categories. I don't think Whip Warriors is going to throw me out. But I have 1 more project. Because I used Let's Talk Autumn for autumn, because the letter is A in the season. So I have to put that picture in, and then I have 1 more prompt that I know of. So I think that's the requisite number of stitches, at least, between those that I've filled out. So I think I'm good with that. And then otherwise, I will next week, since we have 1 more Friday in September. Next week I'll pull out some of my stitches that I would like to start for October. Remember, October is hashtag pumpkin birthday SAL, stitch along, because October is my birthday month. And I've told Mo we're just celebrating all month. Just get ready for it. We're celebrating my birthday all month. He just gave me a look. But hopefully you will join me. Basically stitch on anything that has a pumpkin, has a color of a pumpkin, maybe the fabric, maybe is pumpkin adjacent. It doesn't. Just let's have some fun with it. And nowadays, there's multiple colors of pumpkins, so you have so much to choose from there. So that's coming up in October, very soon. Alrighty, Happy Mail. I got a couple pieces of Happy Mail that I wanted to share. So Cindy is participating in the, she sent a trading card for somebody to swap, and she sent me one. And so I wanted to show you the one that she sent for me specifically. She said, don't swap this, don't worry about it. And isn't that beautiful? It's stitched DMC on linen, she has listed here on the back. I love it, Cindy. This is gonna go right in my set of trading cards in my scrapbook. Love, love, love it. And then Nancy sent her trading card for the swap, but along with it, she said, you know, I have a few extra patterns. Can I send them to you either to keep or give away? I said, that's lovely of you. Thank you so much. And so she did. And they're not in there. I haven't taken them out. So we have Chubby Bird, which is like the cutest little bird ever. She sent Daisy May from the Housewives, Seaside Tiny Town. This one will definitely be a giveaway because I have it, and it has the little beads in it, so it would be a full. It has that part in it. This is fun. I've never seen this one. Thankful Quaker Bent Creek. I think that might be a lovely November start for me. I think I'm going to start pulling the flosses on that one. And then this is really cool. Primrose Cottage Stitches Halloween Letters. I love that. So Nancy, thank you so much for sending those. That was really quite lovely of you. This week I have no fabric to show you whatsoever. I know you're shocked, but I did save patterns. So this is not just stuff I bought this week. I have some digital patterns that I did buy this week that I wanted to show you. These, I had these orders. None of these were getting started, so it didn't matter. And honestly, I gotta be honest with you. The whole I can't use it until I show it on Flosstube thing, it sounds lovely. If I want to use it, my friends, I'm using it. I will show it to you and say I've bought it, but I'm not purposely saving something only to be shown first before I can use it. This first order, let's do, I think in my notes so that I pay attention. This first order came from Abby Top Knot Stitcher. Let's do Abby's first. Now these actually, I started shopping at Abby's. I was looking for marketplace stuff, and I think none of these were actually marketplace. I think they came out beforehand, which is really kind of funny. Harvest Tiny Town from Heart and Hand, right? I mean, that's adorable. I've seen it stitched up on my Facebook page, and it looked, there's a chicken. She did it without the chicken, and I loved it like that. There'll be no chicken in mine. Everything else will stay the same. All you have to do is extend the tree. Now, a couple people did say in the frills, which is not shown here, there's a fox, I think. So you could put the fox there instead of the chicken if you want. So that came, and then I was on a Liz Matthews kick. Oh, it's funny, I didn't take these out. I took the other ones out. I'm accumulating the days of Christmas. This is the 9th day of Christmas. These are coming out, what, like 2 a year? I think I'm gonna have to start them. Maybe next year I will start. My goal is I'm stitching all of the samplers. I'm not doing the trees. I'll stitch the samplers and they will be put in the scrapbook. I'm torn. I'm thinking shades of green. Do I want the same shade of green? Probably Friendship Green from Stephanie, if so. Or do I want to do different shades of green? Because obviously the colors in each of them are different. I have 9 of them now, so it's a pretty good representation. I was kind of waiting, but if I wait till 12, that's another 1.5 years away before I even start them. So we'll think about it. I did get this pumpkin house, which is really cool. I wouldn't stitch it like this. I'll stitch the house by itself for sure. I don't know if I'll start that this year because there's lots of great pumpkins. But I think that would be a beautiful stitch on its own. And then this is fun. So I could see stitching them on their own. I won't stitch them together. And then I did pick up Boo. I didn't pay attention because this is actually from Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher. So at some point this may or may not be a giveaway because I do get Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher, although I don't know if I printed this one off. I need to see. I need to do that. We'll see. It may not be this year giveaway. Maybe I'll stitch it and then give it away or whatever. But note to self, pay attention to some of the patterns and see if they're in Punch Needle Prim Stitcher before you order them. So that was from Abby Topknot. And then I ordered from Barefoot Needle Arts. First experience ordering from them. It was a wonderful experience. A really great shopping experience. They are in, I believe, South Carolina, right, friends? And I would suggest if you want to try ordering from them, it was fantastic. I picked up from Blueberry Ridge, I picked up Sampler Seasons Autumn. I really enjoy that. I'm not sure if I were to stitch it on that fabric, I would change the floss, I believe. It's charted monochromatically. Or if I keep the floss, I'll change the fabric. I'm going to change this a little bit. It calls for Weeks Dye Works Rust. The DMC alternative is a blend, which is kind of cool. Maybe I'll see what the blend is. And, but we'll see. I could see that actually. See, that looks brown to me. I could see picking an actual rust from DMC or something. We'll see. So there's that. Really lovely. And that says autumn. So I'm thinking there might be, if there aren't other seasons, there might be other seasons coming. This is actually from Barefoot Needle Arts Charted, and it is Beachy Little Christmas. You know I had to do something like that. Love it. So that's cute. I got that. I am completely done now. I have all 4 of Jan Hicks Carolyn's balloons. This is summer. So you know I stitched autumn and winter this past year, and then I got ballooned out. I might have started the other one. Autumn might have been Landa last year. And I needed a break. So I have spring and summer. So this would be something I think I'd look at next year. And Jan did blue. Do you see the blue? If I do it the plan I want, I have to pull the flosses for spring. I would repeat the fabric color from autumn on spring, and then I would do Lady of the Lake, which is blue but with some pinks and all some other stuff on this summer one. So I have to pull the flosses and do tosses, but I think that'd be cool. This one is from Imaginating, and it's Anchor's Holiday Tree. I thought that was really cool. Now, will I get tired of stitching anchors? Maybe. Would I do all of this? Maybe not. I'm thinking this would be fun on like the Blue Ice Opal. And just do the tree and have the kind of the fabric do the singing otherwise and not do the stars. We'll see. And then the last one, this one did come out for needlework, and you know I have to get it, right? Carriage House Samplings, Sampler of the Sea. It is just super cute. I love it. I love all the little elements. I love the lighthouse. I mean, come on. So that would be a fun stitch next year too. I have to start pulling out what I'm going to do for next year. I don't know. And that, of course, is just, that's the jumping off point for next year. Then whatever else comes out. Now, digital, I did buy. I was watching Colette, the Highway Stitcher, and Colette is doing the hosting this year for the October to October Stitch Along Sal. And this is the piece that she said was the Stitch Along piece. Whoa, not that one. Where is it? There it is. This is from Jardin Privé. I don't know the name of it because it's all in French anyway. It's lighthouses, not lighthouses, birdhouses. And there's 12 of them. So I think she said some people are going to, break it up and do a certain amount each month. I don't know if I'm officially jumping on the Stitch Along, but it was so cute. And you know how much I love Jardin Privé. So I had to get that. And then when I was shopping there, look at this. This is a fairly new one. Happy Halloween. Now, Happy Halloween and says pumpkin party. You could just do the pumpkins and say put pumpkin party with it. If you don't, for example, celebrate Halloween and take the top part off. I think that's cool. This may be a start in October. See, this was not planned, but I love this. I think I changed the fabric though. Just make sure something with that white pumpkin jumps out. So I bought those, and then it's funny because I was thinking in my head, okay, I want to stitch XYZ pattern for New Year, New Start. And I was like, yes. And then I didn't write it down. Totally forgot. Couldn't think of it at all. And I'm not exactly sure. I kept racking my brain saying, what was I going to stitch for next year? It was a perfect New Year, New Start. Whatever reason. Ooh, see, this is even good cold because now it's cold. It's cool tea. It's not hot tea anymore, but it's nice actually. It just popped in my head and I said, that's it. I'm buying it. And it is Fish and Chips from Long Dog. This is my very first Long Dog that I will stitch. It is relatively, I think the highest part of it is like 214. That's perfect. That's perfect. It's not huge compared to other Long Dogs. I don't know the fabric, but I'm thinking floche. Floche or sulky. I'm thinking of trying one or the other of those and do one strand stitching on 18 count. I've got some ideas for fabrics. I need to maybe see it one or two in person. I've been looking for floche and it's out of stock in a lot of places. I did find a hank on Amazon and I'm thinking I need a lot of it for something like this. So I did order that. When it comes in, I will show you. It's a DMC product if you're curious. Floche. And I think it's one strand equals, I've seen it some places say equal to 1.5, but DMC might say it's kind of like 2. I don't know. I think it'll be fine on 18 count, however you look at it. So I think I would stitch the white and then pick my other color. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with that, but I think that's the way I'm going to go. So if you would like to stitch Fish and Chips next year, 2024 with me, I've bought it. I am ready to rock and roll. So think about it. And this gives you a couple months to think about fabric and floss. So anyway, that's it for my buying. I had to buy that. As soon as I thought it, I said, I have to buy it because it's going to go right out of my brain again. And then I'm going to be racking my brain again, figuring out what it would be. Alrighty. So let me look at my notes here. That's my shopping. We're done. All right, giveaways. I need to pick the winner. Where's my thing? Of the flosses. And aren't these great colors? These were popular. I got a lot of names for this. We have Just Rust from Classic Colorworks and Pumpkin Harvest from Classic Colorworks. And I asked you to say the word rust. Some great comments, actually. I love it. You all, it's just so fun. I have read the comments. I am like several videos behind in comments. I read them, and I need to sit down and just start answering. So if you just see stray hearts and answers or answers on your comments, that's just me trying to catch up. Alrighty, so let me pull out one. Who do we have? We have, this is kind of a cute little name for a Flosstube, Worried Stitcher. Congratulations, Worried Stitcher. If you could give me your address, I'll send these flosses out to you. All right. Now, this week, I think I've got my pile, so I'm hoping I won't be going anywhere tomorrow. I'm housebound given the weather, if it happens like they say. But I'm hoping next week to get to the post office. I've got several giveaways ready at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I've been kind of keeping a bunch and then sending a bunch out at once. And so I'm hoping next week that I can send out giveaways. But anyway, this week, what was I going to do? Here we go. I actually was going through my patterns and I found this and I said, well, you know, this is perfect. This is Celebrate Halloween from Madame Chantilly. And it's kind of like your tier tray, right? It's not called tier tray, but it's perfect. And I'm going to show this up close because I love the face on this spider. Say the word spider. And I'll put your name in the blue bowl. We have for my neighborhood, there's, like a Facebook page just for my community. And somebody posted a picture of, oh, look at my visitor and this giant spider in its web. And you get this, and I'm not a spider person. And I was like, whoa, you need to give a warning and then give pictures like that in the comments, because that was just, now because, if you're checking and, and somebody makes a comment, it pops up on the top again. I like scroll through and keep my eyes closed so I don't see it. But this one's cute. He looks a little, I don't know, worried. I'm not sure exactly. But if you would like to get a chance for this pattern, just say the word spider. And that is it. Whew. I talked a lot about my projects, so the extras I tried to kind of work my way quickly through. If you were here just for stitching, thank you for being here. I always say thank you for staying this point. Some of you do, some of you peace out long before, and that's fine. I am just happy to say hi to you whatever we get. But have a great week if you don't want to hear any life stuff. I'm trying to think if there was a lot of life stuff. Not a ton. Mo pickleballed on Saturday, so I was able to, I'm looking these two cute little adorable doggies going for a walk. Oh, they're adorable. They're like about this big, super cute. I get distracted by doggies. You know that by now. Yes, so he played pickleball and he did the full stretch. He didn't just stay for that little bit of time. Although he said he took breaks rather than just playing like a couple hours straight through. So I went and jumped on a Zoom. So that was a lot of fun. I got a chance to chat and stitch a little bit. And I wanted to start Librarians House on Saturday. So that was fun. That was perfect. And, Sunday. I said to Mo, I feel like getting out of the house. Sometimes you just need that fresh air. Wasn't in the mood to just stay and stitch even. I know. But, and I said, I was thinking about in Connecticut, if you're ever in the Hartford area, you need to go, Elizabeth Park. I almost forgot. In Hartford, Connecticut, there's a place called Elizabeth Park. And if you can get there in June when the roses in bloom, it is the most beautiful thing. Although in the spring, the tulips, and we used to go there year round. It's a small little loop you can walk, and, I would kind of hang out there and sometimes in stitch. And they have a big event, a roses weekend in June and all of that. But it is just, you can go have picnics because there's, different greenery areas. It's wonderful. And I said, I really wish we had an Elizabeth Park here. So Mo went on and he was like, let's see what we got. Because obviously we have the beaches, but I was like, I just feel like doing something different than the beach. And so I'd say about 15 to 20 minutes from us, he found, it's called a lavender garden. And it's small. And it's only open to the public from May until, I think it closes October 1st. When we were in September, I said, let's just go for a ride. It was a beautiful autumn day. And let's just check it out, So we went. And it's a lovely little place. So if you are ever down in Milton, Delaware, and you want to go to a little garden area, and it's May to the end of September, the lavender gardens, I would suggest. And I told Mo I want to go back in the spring. So they have some rows and rows of lavender just planted. And there was still some, but for the most part, I think it had kind of reached its peak. There were still butterflies, flitting around. So you guys see butterflies. And we were walking at one point, and one, I thought it was going to land on Mo's hat because it was like dive bombing Mo. And then it kind of veered off. But lots of butterflies. So I can just imagine in the spring, and the smell must be amazing. And then, you can walk around a little bit. They have other flowers. They had like a little mini dahlia garden, which was beautiful. They have a walking meditation circle, which we didn't do that day. But I said in the spring, because it was kind of a little raggedy. So I was like, I want to make sure I walk it the proper way. So I'm sure they'll fix it after when they open up again for the season in May. And we just sat, there was like a swinging chair, and we just sat there and listened to the cicadas, and it was just really lovely. So if you get a chance, it's It's a wonderful little place to visit. And I didn't go into the gift shop, but you could smell the lavender as you were going by. So it was really kind of cool. So that was our weekend. Other than that, I've just been doing physical therapy. I've been working hard at doing my exercises. It's been a month since I've been at physical therapy, and so she did the measurements, and I have better range of motion in every angle. Some of the strength in the left hip still needs work, and obviously the range of motion still needs more work, but it's doing good. So I'm encouraged because, I knew it's not going to get better in 6 weeks, right? My goal is to have a really fully functioning hip if I continue every day within 6 months to a year. And then maybe I can avoid surgery. If the hip just says, I just don't like this, then we'll talk to the doctor. But, I was encouraged to see increased range of motion. I still have days where it hurts. Yesterday, physical therapy kind of kicked my butt a little bit because she did some extra stuff. So I did have to take some ibuprofen, but for the most part, I don't even have to take any of that. And I don't feel like it some days, and it takes probably an hour by the time I do everything, but I just keep at it, and I'm encouraged. So that was encouraging. Other than that, we've got a storm coming. I guess there's a tropical storm coming up through the Carolinas, and I think it's going up through the Chesapeake. So, obviously any friends, along the Chesapeake in like Maryland or whatever, I hope you stay safe. We are getting the effects of it here in Rehoboth, and we're expecting 3 to 4 inches of rain in like a day. So hence why I will be home tomorrow. There's no pickleball. I said to Mo, they're canceling that. You won't be pickleballing at all. And I think it might be raining even into Sunday, and the wind. We're supposed to get good 50 to 60 mile hour gusts of wind. So I guess it's a day that I can stay in and stitch. We'll see what happens. Those are the days when I want to get outside and get some fresh air. When I have to stay inside, my brain is always ornery, like, I want to go out. Because that's just the contrariness in me. But, we'll see. We'll see what I get accomplished. And hopefully there's no flooding. I think in our area, because they did say inland flooding would also be an issue, not just coastal flooding. But we're not close enough to any of there's a lot of creeks and, little things that come in from the bay and everything. But I think we'll be okay. But that's it. And then, we were going to go out this weekend because Monday is our anniversary. As of Monday, we will be married 24 years. And it was funny because I think it was Thursday. Mo's like, oh yeah, our anniversary is Monday. You want to go do something this weekend? I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Sure. But, I don't know. We'll see if the weather goes downhill tonight. We might just wait till next weekend. Because he has to do something Monday night. So we can't go out Monday night. But, I don't think anything's happening tomorrow. There'll be coastal flooding, so I don't think I'm going down to the beach in the middle of a tropical storm. But if possible, maybe we go out to dinner tonight, or we'll just wait. It doesn't matter. I'm okay with whenever. But yeah, that's my milestone for the week. And that's it. That's all I have. So I'm not exactly sure plans-wise. I am loving this swap because my mail has been so fun. It reminded me of, I used to do stamping pen pals. And so you'd stamp up a card, make it, write some notes and whatever and send them out. And there was a whole pen pal list. And it was lovely. The mail was so fun. And so I'm so excited every day when the postal person comes. I'm like, ooh, do we get any trading cards? And they've been coming in now. So it's been so much fun. I love it. But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what my plans are. I think we'll just take it as it comes, right? So I hope all is well with you wherever you are. I know my friends across the world are coming on spring. I'm sure that's a lovely time for you to kind of finish up with your winter, and I hope it's a lovely time for you. The rest of us are hitting autumn, and I love summer, but I am looking forward to a little bit of the cooler, that, that 60-ish, 60s kind of crisp air. It's a fun time. So I'm looking forward to that. And I hope you are too, depending on where you are. And I hope all is well. I know I saw some fires are coming in. And there was the game, the Giants game. We won't talk about the Giants this year, in San Francisco. And I think they did say that some of the air in San Francisco has been challenging. So anywhere along that way, if you are getting some of that air again, I hope it dissipates soon, and I hope the fires get contained and all is well there. But I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. I hope you are getting a chance to give you some you time. Remember, your mental health, you matter, and do something for you as much as you can every single day, because it's super, super important. And that will spill into everything else if you get a chance to do something just for you. That helps you be an awesome person in all other aspects of your life. So I hope you get some stitching in here and do whatever makes you happy. And until next time, happy stitching.